Hey everyone, welcome back to Income Streams 247. Today we're diving into something super cool but totally underrated, the Assistant API. If you're into AI coding or just curious about how people build smarter apps, this is going to blow your mind. Honestly, I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. It's a game changer. It lets you have continuous, seamless conversations with AI like you're chatting on ChatGPT, but programmatically. No jumping through hoops with RAG or manually feeding outputs back and forth. Let's get into it. So here's the backstory. I was browsing a forum the other day and someone asked, how can I maintain conversation continuity with the ChatGPT API? Because this is a question I've seen so many times. If you've used the OpenAI API, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The thing is, models like GPT are stateless. Every time you interact with them, you have to send all the context along with your input. Imagine having to explain your life story to someone every time you ask them a question. Frustrating, right? And it's not just me, this is a pain point for so many developers. Now, up until recently, there were really only two ways to deal with this. The first method is called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. Basically, it's like strapping a memory module to your AI. You store the data somewhere else like a database and then retrieve it whenever you need it. It's powerful, but setting it up can be like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions. The second method I asked, well, kind of clunky. You take the output from one prompt, pass it into the next, then into the next, and so on. It's like playing telephone with yourself. Sure, it works, but if your app has more than a couple of steps, it gets messy fast. This is where the Assistant API steps in wearing a superhero cape. It introduces something called threads. And let me tell you, threads are the real MVP. Think of a thread as a little chat room where your AI assistant keeps track of everything you said. It remembers all the messages, handles context automatically, and even deals with truncation when things get too long. It's like magic. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're building an app to create blog posts. Step one is generating an outline. Step two is fleshing out each section. Step three is writing a catchy title. Normally, you'd have to pass the output from each step into the next manually. But with threads, you just tell the Assistant API, hey, keep this all in one thread, and it takes care of the rest. It's like having a personal assistant who actually listens, no offense to the real assistants out there. Now, here's something that really blew my mind. Threads aren't just about convenience, they're also about scalability. Let's say you've got a huge workflow with 50 steps. Maybe you're building an app that writes entire ebooks or manages customer support tickets. Normally, keeping track of all that context would be a nightmare, but with threads, the Assistant API automatically trims the less important bits to fit within the token limit. You don't have to worry about hitting a wall because the system does the heavy lifting for you. Let's zoom out for a second. Why does this matter for me, and I'm guessing for a lot of you? It opens up a world of possibilities. Think about it, you could build apps that don't just answer questions but actually think through problems step by step by step. Want to create an AI powered landing page generator? Easy. Need an app that drafts contracts based on user inputs? Done. The Assistant API makes these things not only possible but straightforward. Now, here's the funny part, this API isn't even new. It's been around for a while, but it feels like it's been flying under the radar. Most of the content you see about the OpenAI API is focused on traditional methods, passing outputs back and forth, setting up RAG systems, or just brute forcing solutions. Meanwhile, this gem of a tool is sitting there waiting to make your life easier. Let's talk about use cases for a second, because I know some of you are thinking, okay, cool, but how does this help me if you're a developer? This is a no-brainer, but even if you're just starting out with AI, the Assistant API can save you hours of frustration. For example, if you're creating a chatbot for customer support, threads let you maintain context across multiple queries without storing everything manually. If you're building a writing assistant, you can use threads to handle complex workflows like brainstorming, drafting, and editing all in one place. If you're an entrepreneur, you can even use this to streamline tasks like creating product descriptions or generating sales copy. And here's the kicker, the Assistant API works beautifully with newer models like GPT-4 Turbo or GPT 3.5 Turbo. These models are faster, cheaper, and incredibly versatile. Pair them with threads and you've got a setup that can handle almost anything you throw at it. Now, I know this has been a lot of info, but let's take a step back. If you're still here, you're clearly interested in leveling up your AI game, and I respect that. My advice, start experimenting with the Assistant API. Whether you're building apps, automating workflows, or just tinkering for fun, this tool will change the way you think about AI. Before I wrap this up, I've got a quick question. Have you hit that follow button yet? If not, well, I heard a rumor that if you don't, your next AI project will mysteriously crash right before launch. I'm not saying it's true, but do you really want to take that chance? Exactly. So hit that follow button and let's keep this journey going. All right, that's it for today. If you made it all the way to the end, you're an absolute legend. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.